Have you ever loved someone so deeply that even silence started hurting? Not because they left, not because they changed, but because you could never explain what they made you feel. Tonight, this poem is for the people who smile in front of everyone, but fight memories alone. The feelings I never had words for. I never planned to think about you this much. At first, you were just another person in my life. A normal conversation, a normal moment, a normal smile. But slowly, you became part of my routine. Your name stayed longer in my mind. Your messages started changing my mood. And without realizing it, I started caring in ways I never did before. The strange part is, I never told you. Not because I didn't want to. I just didn't know how. How do you explain that one person can calm your entire mind? How do you explain that their small attention feels bigger than everything else? How do you explain missing someone who was never truly yours? I tried ignoring it. I distracted myself with work, with people, with late-night scrolling, with fake laughter. But every quiet moment brought me back to you. And honestly, that scared me, because feelings become dangerous when they stay hidden too long. You start overthinking every conversation, every reply, every delay, every small change in their tone. One day they reply fast, and your whole day feels good. The next day they disappear for hours, and suddenly your chest feels heavy for no reason. That's the worst kind of attachment, the one nobody sees. People think heartbreak only happens after relationships end, but sometimes the deepest pain comes from connections that never even started. You sit there imagining things that never happened, conversations that never took place, moments that only exist inside your head, and still, they feel real enough to hurt you. I remember nights when I stared at my phone, waiting for your message like it was the only thing keeping me awake. And when nothing came, I pretended it didn't matter. But it did. It always did. I think that's what silent love does to a person. It teaches you how to suffer quietly. No drama, no shouting, no explanations. Just thousands of thoughts trapped behind one normal smile. Sometimes I wonder if you ever noticed. Did you ever realize how carefully I listened to you? How quickly my mood changed because of you? How even your smallest kindness stayed in my mind for days? Or was I just another person in your notifications? Maybe that's life. Some people become chapters in your story, while you remain a sentence in theirs. Still, I don't regret feeling this way, because even pain proves something was real. In a world full of temporary people, at least my feelings were honest. I never wanted perfection from you. I just wanted consistency, a little effort, a little honesty, a little reassurance. But sometimes we expect emotions from people who are still emotionally lost themselves. And that realization changes everything. You stop blaming them. You stop blaming yourself. You just accept that not every connection is meant to stay. Some people enter your life only to teach you how deeply you can feel. And maybe that was your role in mine. You know what hurts the most? It's not losing someone. It's watching yourself slowly become a stranger because of the emotions you kept hiding. You stop sleeping properly. You lose focus. You replay old conversations like they contain secret meanings. And the worst part is, you can't even explain your pain properly, because technically, nothing happened. No breakup, no ending, no promises, just feelings, pure feelings. And somehow, those hurt the most. I used to think love needed words. Now I know silence can love someone just as deeply, maybe deeper, because silent feelings carry no expectations, only hope, and hope can destroy a person slowly. If you are listening to this right now while thinking about someone, I want you to understand something. Your feelings are real, even if nobody knows, even if nobody understands, even if the story never became official. What you felt mattered. But don't lose yourself trying to hold on to someone who never tried holding on to you. Love should not feel like begging for attention. An attachment should never cost your peace. One day, you will meet someone who does not confuse your heart, someone who replies without games, someone who stays without excuses, someone who makes effort feel natural. And when that day comes, You will finally understand the difference between emotional confusion and genuine love. Until then, protect your heart. Stop watering connections that only survive when you chase them. Because the right person will never make you question your value every night. And maybe the feelings you never had words for were only teaching you what you truly deserve. So if this poem touched something inside you, don't ignore that feeling. Some emotions arrive quietly, but they change your entire life. And maybe tonight, you finally found the words you were searching for all along. Because some stories don't end when people leave. They continue inside your mind for months. You move on physically, but mentally, you still revisit old moments like unfinished conversations. You hear a song, and suddenly everything comes back. The late night talks, the energy, the way their name once made your heart react instantly. It's strange how memories work. A person can disappear from your life, but still live inside your thoughts every single day. And people around you never notice it. They see you laughing, working, posting normally, talking normally, but they don't see the silent battles happening inside your head at 2 a.m. They don't see how many times you almost texted them again, not to argue, not to complain, just to feel connected one more time. That's the dangerous thing about emotional attachment. It makes absence feel louder than presence. I used to believe time automatically heals everything. Now I know time only heals what you stop feeding emotionally. If you keep revisiting the same memories, the same screenshots, the same old conversations, your heart never truly leaves that place. And maybe that's why some people stay broken for years. Not because they were abandoned, because they never emotionally let go. I learned something painful recently. Closure does not always come from another person. Sometimes closure comes from accepting that you deserve better from the beginning. That truth hurts, but it also frees you. Because once you realize your value, you stop chasing people who only gave temporary attention. You stop begging for consistency. You stop confusing mixed signals with love. And slowly, you start choosing your peace over your attachment. But healing is weird. Some days you feel completely fine. Then one random memory destroys your entire mood again. One picture, one voice note, one familiar sentence. And suddenly, your heart feels heavy all over again. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you care deeply. Real emotions don't disappear overnight. They fade slowly, like rain stopping after storm, little by little, drop by drop. I think the hardest part about emotional pain is pretending you're okay while secretly hoping someone notices you're not. You want someone to ask twice, to understand your silence, to feel the pain hidden behind your normal replies. But most people only understand words, and some feelings are too deep for language. That's why poetry exists. Because sometimes poems explain emotions better than conversations ever could. Sometimes strangers understand your heart better than the people close to you. And maybe that's why you are still listening right now. Because somewhere inside these words, you found pieces of yourself. The overthinking, the attachment, the silent waiting, the emotional exhaustion. You recognize it all. And listen carefully. Do not hate yourself for loving deeply. The world already has enough people who feel nothing. Your ability to care is not weakness. Your softness is not weakness. The wrong people made you feel like your emotions were too much, when in reality, they were simply not capable of handling genuine love. There's a difference. Never shrink your heart just because someone failed to value it. One day, someone will appreciate the way you care, the way you remember little things, the way you stay loyal, the way you love with honesty instead of ego. And when that happens, you will stop romanticizing people who only gave you confusion, because clarity feels different. Healthy love feels peaceful. It does not leave you questioning your worth every night. It does not make you overanalyze simple replies. It does not disappear when things become difficult. Real love stays consistent, even on quiet days. Maybe this pain was never sent to destroy you. Maybe it was sent to teach you emotional maturity, to teach you boundaries, self-respect, patience, detachment. Because sometimes losing emotional attachment is the first step toward finding yourself again. And maybe that version of you, the healed version, is waiting on the other side of this pain right now. And maybe the saddest truth about human emotions is that we often become attached to people who only met a temporary version of us, while we continue carrying permanent feelings for them long after they have already moved on with their lives. You continue remembering details they probably forgot weeks ago. The exact way they spoke during late-night conversations. The moments where their attention made ordinary days feel important. The tiny habits that slowly became part of your emotional routine without you even realizing it. That is how attachment grows. Quietly, slowly, invisibly. Nobody warns you that emotional dependence does not always begin with love. Sometimes it begins with comfort, with consistency, with one person becoming your escape from stress, loneliness, and overthinking. And once your heart starts associating peace with a specific person, their absence starts feeling like emotional withdrawal. You try replacing the feeling with distractions. You spend more time online. You work longer hours. You talk to different people. You force yourself to stay busy because silence becomes dangerous when memories are louder than your thoughts. But no distraction truly works when your heart still waits for someone your mind is trying to forget. That internal battle changes a person. You become emotionally tired in ways nobody around you understands. Simple conversations start feeling exhausting because your energy is secretly focused on one person who is no longer emotionally present in your life. And the painful part is that people think healing looks dramatic. They think heartbreak only exists when relationships officially end. They think pain only counts when there are public goodbyes, tears, or visible damage. But some of the deepest heartbreaks happen privately, silently, inside people who continue functioning normally while emotionally collapsing in private every single night. You still wake up. You still reply to messages. You still smile in front of others. But internally, your heart keeps replaying unfinished emotions that never receive proper closure. That kind of emotional pain is difficult to explain because there are no visible scars attached to it. Only memories, only unanswered questions, only the painful realization that you cared far more deeply than the other person ever did. And once that realization finally hits you completely, something inside you changes forever. You stop chasing explanations. You stop asking why they changed. You stop trying to force effort from people who naturally give attention to what they truly value. Because eventually you understand something important. Genuine interest never needs to be begged for. People make time for what matters to them emotionally. And accepting that truth can either destroy you or heal you depending on how honestly you face it. For a long time, I kept blaming myself. I wonder if I was too emotional, too attached, too available, or too caring. I thought maybe if I acted differently, they would finally understand the depth of my feelings. But emotional connection should never require you to abandon your self-respect. The right person will never make you feel guilty for caring deeply. The right person will never leave you confused about your place in their life. And the right connection will never force you to decode mixed signals every single day just to feel emotionally secure. That confusion was never love. It was uncertainty mixed with hope. And hope can keep people emotionally trapped for years, especially when they keep believing potential matters more than reality. That is another painful lesson life teaches slowly. You cannot love people based on who they could become. You must accept who they consistently choose to be. Potential creates fantasies. Consistency reveals truth. And truth is often uncomfortable because it forces you to stop romanticizing situations that were emotionally damaging from the beginning.